Longhorns. Hottie Lay for Auburn, Bria Cunningham for Texas. Get this one underway, and the Longhorns have the ball first. Be a fun night. We'll talk about these two teams this season's SEC race, and we'll do lots of reminiscing from Texas's perfect season. It was 40 years ago, Fran. Seems like yesterday in 1986.
Rub it in. Just go ahead and rub it in.
Jordan Lee's pass finds Justice Carlton, who has the game's first 2 points.
It's a tough pass. Over 2 sets of defenders. Perfect pass. Nice bucket.
Auburn, led by Caitlin Duhan, 59 steals, is top 10 in the nation. She also hits 45% of her three-point shots. But offense has been hard to come by for the Tigers in SEC play. Just 4 of 31 from beyond the arc, falling to Mississippi State and Tennessee. Cunningham knocks the ball away from Heidi Lay, and here comes Rory Harmon for the Longhorns. Hesitation and drive to the rim, but Ariel Jackson knocks it away.
You thought Rory had a chance to actually just pass the basketball right there for an easy layup and missed it.
Carlton the rebound off the Maya Petticord miss. Bria Cunningham coming in. Her and Kyla Oldacre combined 21 points, 11 rebounds a game by Texas's 2 post players. And Cunningham with the board in the 2 points to put Texas up 4-0.
And that's really the secret to Texas, I think, is they have the big 3 on the outside, but they have multiple players on the inside that can score and really hurt you rebounding-wise.
So here's Jackson wearing number 7, the 5'9" senior from Brooklyn, New York, leading Auburn in assists. But where will the offense come from? We talked about how good their defense is, but their offense hard to come by in the past week. Jamia Harris, the Texas State transfer, with 4 on the shot clock, finds Duhan, who drives on Carlton, and a whistle.
Wow, she was explosive to the basket. I mean, the first step going by that defender, incredible for Auburn. If they can do that, force Texas to play better defense, they'll have an opportunity here in the first half.
And that's the thing, I think, with Auburn is that they have quickness on the perimeter. And you see Duhan here, known for her defense, but Larry Vickers, head coach, the new head coach for Auburn, has talked about how he wants her to be more offensive-minded. She shoots more than 40% from 3. He'd like to see her get her 3 up and get to the rim like she did that last play.
And Larry Vickers, there he is, first year as Auburn head coach, 10 seasons at Norfolk State. In the last 3 seasons, Spartans went 83-18, making the NCAA tournament all 3 years. Before his arrival, the program had a winning record just 3 times.
Yeah, Auburn, one of the great legacy teams in NCAA, had a couple of teams that we know, Chantel Tremitiere, Ruthie Bolton, who got to the Final Four 3 or 4 times in a row. So they've got a nice history.
Yeah, first meeting between these two teams, the 1999 NCAA tournament, and Auburn eliminated the Longhorns in Blacksburg, Virginia. Madison Booker off with her first shot.
We weren't here then, just so you know.
Wasn't your fault. A 4-1 Texas lead. Auburn still without a field goal.
Tough.
And an offensive foul. Lay picks it up.
You know, that's a point of emphasis for officiating this season, is how well are teams setting picks? Are they moving? Are they lifting their bodies into offensive players? And so they'll be watching that very closely. Rory Harmon, the benefactor of that one.
Especially those little movements at the very end. They talked about that little shift right before the offensive player gets to them.
Booker from the short corner again. Drains this jumper.
Yeah, against that zone. Texas does such a terrific job of using the short corner, especially with Book. She's tremendous from that mid-range area on the baseline. 21
points a game in her last 5 coming in. 27 or more.
Have those post players. Montague is out. She had just come back. Their 6'5" player, but is not playing tonight, we've been told. And when you have Lay, who's about 6'1", playing the 5 position in the SEC, you need more than that.
Yeah.
Leading scorer for Auburn is just a freshman, and Harrison Koulibaly from Paris, France, averaging just over 11 points a game. With Texas Hall of Famers, Fran Harris and Andrea Lloyd, I'm David Salzman from the Moody Center. 3rd conference game for Texas after defeats of Missouri and Ole Miss, hanging on to defeat the Rebels by 3 on Sunday. Madison Booker the interception, and here come the Longhorns looking to extend the lead. Cunningham with position, unable to connect in her 2nd field goal. Carlton had it for a moment. Jackson rips it away.
Yeah, definitely don't want to bring the ball down against this team.
Literally was going to say, that's where Auburn will shine, their ability to be feisty defensively.
And I think that is where Jordan Lee has been underrated this season. Her defense as she draws the charge.
And that's the thing she did so well last year. She came in as a defender, spot defender. This year she's asked to guard the best offensive player on the perimeter. This was a transition situation, willing to take a little bit of punishment in there.
Previous play on the floor, offensive fouls under.
At that thing, at that particular schedule, but I saw him. I called one of his games, and they were pretty tough, the Bulldogs were.
Well, started 32-0, lost in the last-second 3 to Notre Dame in the national championship game. Carleton hustling for the offensive boards, and Vic Schaefer has often said that is Carleton's strength as she keeps the possession alive. And a foul on the Tigers on the pass to Cunningham. So this Texas start comes after Ole Miss made quite a push Sunday, cutting a 15-point deficit after 3 quarters to just 3. Texas had to hang on. Your thoughts on how the Longhorns have come out overall so far as Rory Harmon misfires on the jumper?
I think a bit more measured. I mean, Ole Miss came firing in the fourth quarter, scored 24 points in that game against Texas in Moody. And I think today Texas looked a little more measured, a little more disciplined as they came out in the first quarter.
And Texas has forced 5 turnovers already. One of those obviously offensive foul, but they haven't really taken advantage of it.
Longhorns 3 of 9 from the floor so far. Auburn just 1 field goal attempt. Coulibaly got it knocked away. Carleton the good defense, and here comes Lee. Carleton position, nice. 2 and a foul.
It's just a good decision. Keep feeding your post. I mean, Carleton wasn't even running that hard to get down the floor. They just have such an advantage, Texas does, in the paint right here, and nobody picks up Carleton strong enough, her ability to go up and finish around the rim. We've seen her do that. She is tough. She has great instincts on the floor. Still learning, I think, defensively and offensively to have better habits, but no doubt she is an instinctive, terrific player.
Well, 2 things. Auburn has to, I think you have to release in that situation and not try to play Texas man-to-man all the way down the floor. Release to get more people back so you can stop them from scoring on the break and double-team them early in transition so they don't get it to their bigs. All righty.
Offensive foul, this time on Petticourt.
And those are turnovers. So, again, another turnover for Auburn right now.
Auburn's usually the team that forces turnovers. In fact, they forced 25 Tennessee turnovers Sunday, but they shot just 34%, just went 2 of 16 from 3, and the Volunteers ran away with the victory.
Zone defense again by Auburn.
Nice feed to Cunningham on the weak side.
Yeah, you got to have more. You can play a zone, but you have to have pressure on the basketball if you're playing against a team like Texas with bigs on the inside. So zone up the other 4, pressure on the ball on the perimeter. Otherwise, an easy pass like that ends up being an assist. Second
assist for Rory Harmon to give her 863 in her career. Each assist extends her Texas record.
I think she might have got a steal as well today, which extends her another record.
Well, she did. I didn't want to bring it up because she just passed you for second all time in Texas in steals. Little competitive nature in you. Wish maybe you were second, or all credit to Rory Harmon.
We're not going for second, you know. But so yeah, I think you asked very hard. And
Cunningham, the steal, the full court drive, the lay-in, and the foul.
Did we see the big girl play some passing lane defense and then get a steal and then all the way down for the deuce? I mean, the big girls are showing some skills here today.
You know that's going to be in film session tomorrow. Vic Schaefer's going to pull that out and say, this is how you do it. I tell you to get in the passing lanes all the time. Something that Texas does really well.
15-1 Texas to get this game started. This is the 3rd SEC game for both these squads, and for Texas, the schedule gets much tougher beginning on Sunday. We'll talk much more about it as we go along. LSU and South Carolina away the ball from Duhan.
That time, Auburn did a really good job. Nice move.
Carleton 2 and a foul. And how about Rory Harmon going right up?
He's going to let you know.
Yes.
He's going to let you know.
You got to love that about Vic Schaefer. I mean, he is straightforward. He tells you exactly what he thinks. He demands of you greatness.
The standard is the standard. That's his favorite line.
10 seconds. Still haven't gotten the ball below the free throw line.
Shot clock down to 7, and Jenna Bayoso finds Coulibaly over Kyla Oldacre. So Oldacre just checked in for Cunningham. Cunningham 7 points, 2 steals, and that foul a minute ago.
Keep going. Turn the corner. There you go.
Booker over Soraya Daniels, and it's 20-1.
Good call. Auburn wanted to take that away. They did not want to allow any Texas player to be able to turn the corner in that dribble drive offense.
Can we say that Booker quietly is averaging 19 a game? She's definitely been scoring more lately, but her scoring has just been so consistent this season. You look at the stat sheet, and all of a sudden you realize she's almost at 20 a game now.
No, that's a great point. Booker just makes it look easy. She absolutely makes it look easy because she's put the work in to make it look easy. And I know people at home wondering, okay, what do you mean by that? If you've done that and you've done rep and rep after rep, hours of doing this, you are a master at it. So it looks very easy for her.
It is an 18-0 Texas run. They've hit their last 6 shots. Auburn 0 of 4 from the floor tonight. We're 7.5 in. Coulibaly got it swatted away. Oldacre, here comes Booker. Texas with numbers. Carlton rewarded. No.
She did a little look off. I think lost her concentration on that one.
Oldacre picks up the foul.
Love that Oldacre is willing to step in and help on defense and make a play and then try to defend one-on-one against a guard.
And this is Texas gets healthier. Now, Oldacre has played most of the year at Cunningham the whole season, and we talked about how combined the post players, those two were 21 points, 11 rebounds. But we haven't seen Ashton Judd yet, but she's been back for Texas. Taya Sidbury is getting healthier. Aaliyah Crump no longer with the knee brace, but still out for Texas. The thing is, they have not been at full strength all season, and yet they're undefeated.
But we know a lot about rotation of lots of players, right, Andy?
Yes, yes.
Like there was nobody who was dominating. You're playing 39 minutes. We had too many great players, and we're seeing that with this edition of Texas as well.
We were counting today that I think 9 players averaged double-digit minutes in our team in 86.
And 8 players averaged 13 points.
Spin by Harmon, misfires on the jumper, and it's Auburn basketball.
I think Auburn's best defense for Texas is really fine-tuning that zone. They're sending a lot of players in, but you got to crowd Texas. You got to make them think about the decisions that they're making against that zone. That is your best opportunity to stop them from scoring at all those 5 positions.
Maya Petticourt and Auburn still looking for their first field goal. And we talked about it. The offensive struggles have been the bugaboo for them, especially in SEC play in the early going. Just 65 points a game overall for the season, just 10 assists, an assist-to-turnover ratio of just over 1/2. So if you're Auburn, how do you try to find an easy shot? I know that's not easy to do, but what can they do to at least try to get better looks? They're 0 of 5 so far.
Well, you got to start by getting the basketball in bounds, and I think they could use their bigs a little better. You know, bigs don't want to play full-court defense. Drive your big up to the free throw line and get the basketball handed off to a guard. Now you're gone. But they're working very hard, their guards, to get the basketball, and they're just going to wear them out.
Yeah, and it's not like Auburn didn't play Tennessee last weekend. They are deep and active in the full court and long, and so they've seen bigs. They just need to take one of those 5 press breakers that they have and use it. Right now they have too many turnovers. Texas has 10 points in turnovers, 16 points in the paint already.
Jordan Leaf the 3, in and out. Another offensive rebound for Carlton. Oldacre gets it this time, and she'll go to the line.
The thing about being a big and getting offensive rebounds and missing is that you got those little gnats, gnats underneath, those like flies at your barbecue, just nipping away at your elbows, but you got to put those putbacks in. You got to make those count, Carlton.
Well, it seems that way, especially with Oldacre. She's so, she's like an immovable force out there. She catches the ball. She's never off balance. She maintains her composure so she can easily get offensive rebounds, whether she's taking the shots or just hitting the boards.
Clara Coulibaly picked up the foul. No relation to Harassoum, and Kyla Oldacre hits her first free throw. You see the post dominance. That 66% shooting from the floor would be a Texas record. 11 points a game for Oldacre. She and Brea Cunningham held Lauren Betts to 8 points in the win over UCLA, but Betts at 16 and 8, and Reagan Beers averaging a double-double for Oklahoma.
Well, and these 3 up there on the board together because they all graduated the same year, and they were 3 of the top 5 posts in the country coming out of high school, and all of them have taken different paths, but successful with their teams, and their teams are successful, which is what you want.
Ariel Jackson, an open jumper, and that's the first field goal for the Tigers.
Run that back. I mean, you got a big trying to guard a small guard coming off that pick, run that back. You got a little space to pull up for that jumper. Nice execution.
Man-to-man from Auburn. Let's see how they do with this.
Jordan Lee for three. Yes.
She was just so confident out there on the floor. I mean, Fran, I was joking earlier about, when you said she looks to shoot and doesn't really look to pass as often because you were that way. But it happens because of confidence and because of reps. And you were the same way on the floor. Put a lot of reps in. Very confident offensive player. We were all a little jealous. Coach, you guys let her shoot.
That's my job.
Nice move, Sanai Richardson.
That record has stood is phenomenal because there have been some incredible players who have come through this program. So I'm in awe of that record, that it lasted until tonight.
Actually, I am too. I think that's the most interesting thing. These records that Rory's breaking are 40 years old.
Yes.
Whether it's Cammie's record for assists or steals or this or that. And it tells you how historic our team was and the time was that we played in.
Yes.
But it just really tells you the quality of players that are playing right now. And Rory's been just tremendous in the last 4.5 years, 5 years. Obviously, this is her 5th year. But.
Give her another assist. So the last 8 games plus a quarter, 77 assists, 8 turnovers for Rory Harmon.
Unbelievable.
5 of those turnovers came Sunday. On the outlet, Duhan the layup.
Yep. Talk about what Auburn needs to do. We talk at the break, like there are things they can do to cut into this lead. And transition offense is one of those things. Get behind this defense and get some easy buckets.
And you have to be able to throw over the top of the defense when they're pressuring full court.
Ariel Jackson, the anticipation, and another easy bucket. Duhan, 2 in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. And, really, Auburn's defense hasn't been a factor until the last couple of plays. Texas has gotten the ball down low to their post. They'll score easily in transition or in the quarter court.
Well, I will say I'm not overly impressed by Texas's transition defense even before tonight. So that's definitely one area that Auburn can pick up on.
Another steal. This is Richardson.
Got a little too fancy though.
Tried to go behind the back. So Ashton Judd checks in for the first time, the senior from West Plains, Missouri, at 9 points, 4 rebounds a game as Oldacre scores. I want to mention Justice Carlton, who's gone to the bench for the first time. 7 points, 5 rebounds, and a solid effort for her out of the starting 5.
I also want to see Auburn put more pressure on the ball. I think they have the ability to pressure passes more. That lob pass is much more difficult when somebody's in your face.
Yes.
This is a nice job defensively pressuring the ball.
Harmon will go to the line.
Never foul a jump shooter, though. You'll pay dearly.
One of the things Larry Vickers talked about today and shoot around was the fact that he was really looking forward to this game with Texas, and he knew they were outmatched, but he's looking to see which of his players are going to respond, who's going to compete, who has that dog in them and is willing to go up against the best.
Peter coming in. Talk about her assists and steals, but a solid scorer, especially when the team needs it. Of course, the game winner against South Carolina Thanksgiving Day. Harmon averaging 9 points a game coming in. Larry Vickers, one of 3 new head coaches in the SEC. We enjoyed our conversation with him earlier today. We talked about how he built the program at Norfolk State and certainly had them at the very top of the MEAC 3 straight seasons before moving to Auburn and looking to rebuild this Tigers program.
Yep, great selection by the Auburn Tigers to bring Larry Vickers in, a guy with great integrity, very well liked in the profession, and knows his hoops. So look for them to improve here in the next few years.
Cunningham the offensive board. Vickers told us about his team, and you see this about a lot of young teams. If our shots go in early, we have confidence. Of course, it took them 7.5 minutes to get their first field goal here today. If you're just joining us, Texas raced out to a 24-1 lead. They've been up comfortably all night, looking to go to 18-0.
Yeah, great point. But the confidence came also because they went to their bread and butter, which was defense. They came out of that huddle for the second quarter and started playing Auburn Tigers defense, and it started to help.
Harmon buries the jumper, her first field goal.
And these turnovers are killing Auburn right now. You do not give a player the quality like Rory Harmon looks like that in transition. 14 turnovers already for Auburn, and many of them just have kind of been laid out there for the Texas team.
Points off turnovers, 20-2.
Lynn Poole would have been screaming her head off at that pass
Lynn Poole.
in the passing lane, not going to the other end for a jump for a layup.
Yes.
It was right there, laid it out for you.
Shot clock winding down, and Jamia Harris, good to see her back on the floor after taking an elbow in the first quarter. Her shot did not hit iron, and therefore the shot clock violation is called.
Lynn Poole, by the way, was our defensive coach, just so you know, David. I was having some PTSD,
Flashbacks.
of Lynn saying, "Defense, Fran Harris!" Woo!
So Taya Sidbury comes in. Did not play the last 2 games. She was banged up, averaging 7 points, 3 rebounds a contest coming in. So interesting lineup here. You have Sidbury and Judd on the floor at the same time, and also the 2 point guards, Harmon and Brianna Preston, also on the floor at the same time here.
Yes, I like it. I love it because you're going to see Rory play a little bit on the wing. You're going to see Brianna Preston play a little bit on the wing, so they're both not cannibalizing their minutes and seeing that they can make some magic together when they're on the floor. Ooh.
Some spacing issues. Harmon dribbles away with 5 to shoot. Pulls up and draws the foul.
What I like about this lineup for Texas is we talked about injuries for Texas this year. They had 2 great wins with players on the bench that weren't available when they were in Las Vegas for the tournament against UCLA and South Carolina. But with Aaliyah Crump out of the lineup right now, the fantastic freshman who's just played 4 or 5 games for Texas this year, it gives Vic the chance to play a player like Brianna Preston on the wing, or keep Rory and Brianna in, because Brianna's the backup 2 player really right now. So a different lineup, a bigger lineup now. You move Judd to the 3.
Crump averaged 13 points a game, but just 5 games before going out with injury. She was putting up shots before shoot-around earlier today, did not participate in shoot-around. Of course, we always ask, when can someone come back? Not determined yet. She was expected to be out 4 to 6 weeks. We are in week 6. Harmon off the turnover. Sidbury finds Cunningham.
Nice.
Coulibaly misfires, followed by Heidi Lay off the mark. Harris in traffic, escapes to Jackson, who slows it down. Shot clock approaching 10. 39-9, the Texas lead. Responding well from a rough 4th quarter, although they held on Sunday to defeat nationally ranked Ole Miss. Harris and Lay misfire, and Judd ends the possession. A 10-0 Texas run. They went on a 20-0 run in the first quarter.
Nice job switching there.
Judd finds Cunningham on the pick and roll. Auburn 4 of 16 from the floor. 3 steals, no turnovers. Speaking of turnovers, Sidbury
Come on, big girl.
forces the turnover, slows it down to Harmon, who gets fouled.
A lot of great depth and talent. We had an edge, though. There was our team, we didn't have to be told that we needed to be tight and ready to come out for every game. We were really, really competitive against each other every day in practice. And it's kind of a lost art, I think, in today's world.
I agree. One of the things that I love that we all talk about is how competitive we were outside of basketball. If we were playing some spades, if we were playing gin, whatever, hacky sack, there had to be a winner, but most important, what, Andy? Somebody had to lose. Okay? So, and that edge went into our games and the way we competed on the court.
Do you think in general, with phones and social media, even, NIL, that you mentioned how you never had
really win things, and back then, you stayed with your team. 90% of the players who went to college stayed with their teams. Nobody left. You built something together special.
So we saw, Fran, you were the leading scorer on the squad, but Andrea, not to be outdone, second on the team in rebounds. Clarissa Davis just outdid you in that department, so nothing to hang your hat about. You also led the team in steals.
Yeah, that team is so balanced, as we mentioned. I don't know. First of all, you have a tremendous fun. I mean, Fran and I cannot see each other for 3 years and still laugh and play off each other and have fun and understand the competitiveness that we shared then and the memories that we have. But I think everybody, you pick any person off of that team, and we would say that was critical and valuable to our team. And it wasn't just the stars. It wasn't the people that have their jerseys retired up there. It was everybody.
Yeah. I think a really critical piece, David, is that, it's fun to win together, but when you've been through something painful together, it cements you and it brings you together in a way. And we did not get back to the Final Four in 1985. We lost at Western Kentucky, and that was heartbreaking. And it was back to business after in the season, that fall, coming back saying we got one last shot to do this. And no excuses, and that's exactly what our mantra was going into that season.
Shot clock winding down, and I don't think Coulibaly sees it. She does not. And it's the 18th Auburn turnover.
And just to add to that, to finish that off, not only did we not play in the Final Four, it was the first sold-out Final Four, and it was here in Austin, and it was at the Drum. And we all watched other teams celebrate on our court, and we watched it together. And there was something about that just made our team not want to be denied that opportunity again.
Yeah.
Does that help this year's Texas squad, perhaps, falling short in the Final Four last season? But in addition to that, this is Rory Harmon's 5th year, and so it's her last chance to be able to win it all here.
I think there's something to be said about last chances, and there's something that stirs inside of you when you know this is it. You're not coming back next year. There's nothing like that, and hopefully, I say this with great respect, hopefully the loss last season in the Final Four was extremely painful, that they don't want to feel that anymore, because that's the way we felt. We said, number one, we don't want anybody celebrating on our court, and number two, we're ranked number one the entire season. The only fitting way to end this season is to win the national championship. And we did.
Nice give and go. Judd finds Preston, who buries the jumper.
And by the way, we beat the team that had the best player in the world. That's the other piece of it. It was very storybook. We beat Cheryl Miller and Cynthia Cooper. And, you beat the women of Troy. Best team beat the best player in the world.
48-12, the Texas lead here. Under 45 seconds remaining in the first half.
You have to attack Texas.
Yeah.
Nice shot.
That's a three by Sinai Richardson.
I really would like to see how Texas does against a team that really attacks that strong hedge on the screen on the ball. I think sometimes people back up and go away from the basket rather than attacking, like you just mentioned.
Good
steal.
Hands.
We've seen this multiple times, intercepting passes, and Coulibaly with the easy two.
Terrific freshman. She was out the last game and injured herself at Mississippi State in that first conference game. Good to have her back on the floor today.
And a travel. Auburn's going to get another chance in the final 6 seconds.
And, Vic Schaefer, right before the half in a 48-17 game, takes his jacket off. And I will tell you, that is a man that understands what it's like to be close but not to have won. And that's what drives him every single day. So when we're talking about the pain that comes with losses and understanding that, he gets that.
Yep.
Yes, Mississippi State squad started 32-0, made it to the national title game and lost on a last-second three to Notre Dame. The Richardson heave off.
I also think people need to go over the top of the Texas defense more often. Like you said, get behind them when they're pressuring you, and in the full court, get it down the floor. Find somebody that can throw that long pass.
Yeah, you got some tricks in your bag, and so that's what Auburn needs to forget about who Texas is and focus on what they do extremely well.
Texas with the ball first as the second half is underway. We'll see how this young Auburn squad responds after Texas dominated half number one. Madison Booker from the short corner. 6 first half points. Now that gives her 8 on the night.
I don't know about you, Fran, but if I was guarding Maddie Booker, I would not give her that particular shot.
Not at all. Not at all. And I'm saying if you're going to play a zone, then someone should be in Texas's jersey. There's no way Maddie Booker gets a clean look.
After the 10th Texas steal, Longhorns with the ball again. Jordan Lee for 3.
The zone is designed to get them to take that outside shot, make it one and done, just as they did on that possession.
Lee 1 of 3 from beyond the arc so far. She deflects the pass out of bounds. Sinai Richardson checks in early in this half as Jamea Harris comes out.
Larry Vickers has played 11 players today, 10 or 11 players today. He is still teaching on his team at this time of year.
Justice Carlton, steal of the inbounds pass, but the tie-up means Auburn basketball.
We had a 2-dribble limit for our post players, okay? Let me just say that.
We did? Missed that memo.
You're learning about this 40 years later.
2 dribbles. and find a guard. That's what we told y'all to do. Andrea defied us on many occasions.
Yeah, the guards wanted the post players to have the 2-dribble limit. I don't know if Andrea followed that all the time, it sounds like.
I'm telling you, Fran, I was just rebounding and trying to get the ball down the floor so we didn't have to run double O offense. That's it. It was all for y'all.
You took a hit for the team.
I did.
Cunningham swats the ball away from Hadi Lay, who wanted a foul.
Now, see here, you got to get some other players in the lane. You could have had a layup, Texas.
I think that's an area Texas can certainly improve, is running the fast break.
Absolutely.
Beautiful feed, Harmon. Give her another assist, her 7th, as Cunningham has 2 more.
Nobody would argue that Texas is terrific at picking apart defenses in the quarter court. I think that, Vic Schaefer might be known for his defense, but he's done a great job of teaching these players how to read defenses and play offensively. But that's another level. It's a fast break and score in that situation.
Maya Petticourt off the mark. She remains scoreless. The Rutgers transcend from the floor. Booker doubled. Carlton from the free throw line. Yes.
I like that. When your post player has the confidence to stretch the floor, knock down that, because guarantee you they're going to see that shot. They're going to be teams that Texas plays in the SEC that are going to give that post player that free throw jumper.
And a 10-second violation called on Auburn, another turnover.
Again, this is that picking apart the defense, or the defense in a quarter court offense. Rory's so good at it, has her head up. And this is what I like about Carlton. She's a player that has learned to find her spots against a zone. Move to those spots, not be stagnant offensively.
No turnovers for Harmon in addition to those 7 assists. So in her last 8.5 games, 79 assists, just sees it and draws the foul.
I don't know how she sees it. She closed her eyes, David. She literally closed her eyes.
I just think she caught the ball. That's how offensive-minded she is. For me, Carlton is one of those really instinctive players, and she's so valuable on the floor because she does these little intangible things that are just natural for
today, 5 overall. She's now up to 12 points after just playing 8 minutes against Ole Miss Sunday.
Nose for the ball, nose from your nose, and also KNOWS, knows where the ball is going. That's what great.
Leading scorer, just a freshman for Auburn coming in, held to 3 points so far. Pretty feed, but Lay sees Cunningham in front of her, and Carlton gets the swat.
Got to have somebody filling this left lane over here.
Booker 3 from the wing. Cunningham, yes. Texas rolling 10-0 this quarter.
Cunningham's such a great pickup for Vic Schaefer. I mean, as a starting post player.
Coulibaly on Booker. Beautiful move, 2 and a foul.
Yeah, using her speed right there. She is extremely fast to the basket.
Telling you, if I'm coaching against Texas, I'm literally saying every time we get the basketball, dribble drive. You have to wear Texas out. You have to make them play one-on-one defense. You have to do it. That's the only way you have a chance this particular game of cutting into this league and even competing with Texas.
Harrison Coulibaly arrived in the U.S. in 2023, comes to Auburn via the S3 Academy in Virginia, born in Mali, and a top 100 recruit.
Yep. Some good talent over there.
58-19. The Texas lead as the Longhorns are on their way to 18-0. Andrea Lloyd, Fran Harris on the crew here today, both part of that 34-0 undefeated national championship squad for Texas 40 years ago. Vic Schaefer always preaches playing as hard in these situations as the game is close. I imagine Jody Conrad did the same thing, especially as your squads became so dominant.
Well, it's a matter of playing with pace, and I think right now for Texas, they've missed 4 straight threes. They've had offensive rebounds in second and third and fourth opportunities. Of course, they're going to score. For me, their pace isn't that good right now offensively.
Justice Carlton's up to 15. She and Cunningham are tied for the team lead.
I've made it.
And Vic Schaefer likes to keep players on the floor when they're playing well. And they both are playing well.
Yeah, this is the most points for Carlton in a month. Had 21 in the win at UT Rio Grande Valley, December 10th.
Nice.
Carlton again.
Nice.
No, but draws the foul. Everyone getting into the act for Texas.
Didn't promise her that. She says, I got 6 seniors. I got, a couple people coming behind them. I can only tell you that you're going to be able to play for a championship. That's all. And Clarissa came anyway. So that tells you a lot about Clarissa because she could have gone anywhere in the country and started.
Yeah, and she came off the bench for our 86 national championship team and was the MVP at the Final Four coming off of the bench. And so, she was tremendous. None of us played more than 25 minutes a game on that particular team.
Yeah.
But that took a lot of sacrifice on her part as a young player because you don't always understand the bigger picture.
I remember vividly seeing Madison Booker for the first time
as she gets the layup and seeing her shot and going, wow, this kid's different. When you played with Clarissa for the first time, did you get a similar vibe?
100%. Yeah, and Clarissa, I wish Clarissa were here because she tells the story of when she came on her recruiting visit and we were having a gathering at Coach's house and we're playing cards, we're playing Frisbee, we're playing whatever. And she said, I was looking at you guys and we were so competitive. Like fights were breaking out over Frisbee. And she said, I knew that's when I was coming to Texas.
Lee feeds Booker as the run continues. 18-2 this half.
Nice move.
Coulibaly, 2 and a foul. So showing why she's a top 100 recruit. 2 nice hoops by the freshman this quarter.
That's so hard to do, too, when you're on a team that Texas has players. They surround each other. They help each other. They get each other open just by being great shooters. And with your Coulibaly right here, you're creating something out of nothing over 6'5" right here in the transition game.
You mentioned how Clarissa Davis came off the bench, but just loved the competitive vibe of the team. Could have gone anywhere, could have started, I imagine, for almost every other team in the country.
No. Not almost. Not almost.
Everyone but Texas.
And she wasn't happy about that. Don't get us wrong. She did not want to be coming off the bench, but she accepted coming off the bench and thrived in it for what our team needed.
Well, I mentioned that because Vic Schaefer talks all the time about, this may be the deepest team he's had, but same thing as Oldacre keeps her balance and finds Booker for 2. But players off the bench here could start at most other schools, and yet accepting your role and being part of what they hope is another national championship squad here.
In today's world, when you can transfer and go play without having to sit out a year, it's a real testament to what he does and his staff does, keeping players here, putting together a team like this.
And they're not at full strength yet. Aaliyah Crump in her 6th week of being off the squad due to injury, but no longer wearing a boot and was putting up shots before shoot-around today, but it's still not expected when she will return. Once she returns, now Texas is 10 deep and at full strength for the first time. Coulibaly's had herself a quarter, but all Texas here since the Open, as they'll go to 18-0. Extending the best start by a Texas squad since 40 seasons ago when you both helped Texas win it all and go unblemished.
I don't remember us talking about going undefeated. I don't think we ever discussed that out loud. I think we just always talked about not being denied. We were not going to lose, refused to lose every single game.
Yeah, everybody else talked about it. They asked us about it. They ask us about it in media conferences all the time. But for us, it was like, one game at a time. We understand what it means to be number 1 in the country. We understand all the expectations, but you got to put together a game and you got to win.
So the questions about going undefeated never affected you?
No.
Justice Carlton there to draw the charge.
Great job by Carlton. That's something that I think her coaching staff has challenged her to do, is that last line of defense, which is taking the charge when you need to.
Here's the funny thing about the undefeated season. Let's take a look at here. Here, you got to put the pressure on Texas again, defensively. Chop some wood, get to the basket if you can, and then Texas has a great position defense. I was going to say, the cool thing about the undefeated season is our first game against Ohio State, David, we almost lost. That's how that season started. I made a last-second shot on the right side baseline drive. I remember that. And in the press conference, they said, Fran, you're number 1 in the country and you come to Ohio State, what were you thinking making that last shot? And I said, I was just trying to do something constructive with the basketball. And Nancy Darsh was so mad. Nancy Darsh was so mad.
The coach for Ohio State, yes.
She said, I didn't think Texas was that good. She said that in press. She said, I didn't think Texas was that good. I said, oh, okay. We're going to go ahead and win 33 more after this, Indy.
I bet you she's changed her mind since. Lee finding Oldacre for 2. Back to Justice Carlton. She's at 17 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, just drew the charge. Maybe her best all-around game of the season, and that comes after she grabbed 6 offensive boards in the win over South Carolina Thanksgiving Day.
I think this is a good game for her. She's had a couple of other good games earlier in the season, but with Judd back, her playing time has diminished really, and getting the playing time today by playing well, that's how you extend your minutes on the floor.
Her lips going down.
Almost for Daniels, and here comes Brianna Preston. 30 seconds left in the quarter. That pass too hard for Carlton.
I imagine that, Andrea, when you have Clarissa Davis on the squad, you're happy to have her as a teammate. That must be motivating to you to be able to do what you can to stay on the floor and start, as again you see Carlton with quite a night.
Yeah, you know, I don't remember ever thinking about starting or not starting, and I don't know if anybody did. I just remembered every practice was a battle. You know, we were not backing down from each other to go, oh, here, you take the starting spot, or here, you do this. We never deferred. We were always competitive. And I think, you know, we will laugh today. I mean, there's times where it was like, yeah, Andy showed up and there's Andy rules all of a sudden. And I'll be like, you know, Fran got to shoot all the time. And Clarissa will say, well, you took my minutes from me, Andrea. These are all true stories 40 years later.
This is what you need to get your team every night.
Both Cunningham and Carlton start the fourth quarter on the bench. Judd and Oldacre on the floor with Booker, Preston, and Sidbury. Harrison Koulibaly, continuing her nice half, draws the foul.
She is just blown by Madison Booker a couple of times. And Booker really having a hard time sticking with her speed.
You see the 10 points for Koulibaly so far, her teammates with 14. She originally committed to Georgia. She played her AAU ball in Richmond, Virginia, and that's how Larry Vickers knew of her, being head coach of Norfolk State, kept the relationship up, and got Koulibaly to Auburn. It's been a big day in the SEC. LSU gets its first conference win, rolling over Georgia. And Ole Miss, Kentucky, after defeating LSU in Baton Rouge a week ago, goes to Alabama, loses by double figures, and then all South Carolina and all Vanderbilt. What sticks out to you the most?
Well, I think Ole Miss a little bit on the run right now. They've two games on the road, and they almost beat Texas and get a good win against Oklahoma, who loves to get up and down the floor. Very different styles of teams they played against. And how about Vandy? Another undefeated team thus far in the season.
Winning in Norman, Oklahoma is not easy. And, you know, Chavez, let's talk a little bit about that rookie, that freshman who is as advertised. And that's a Longhorn talking about a Sooner. She is absolutely outstanding. She's a phenomenal player.
Who knows how this conference race will shake up over the next couple of months, but right now, it doesn't seem like it's going to be just a 2 or 3 team race. I mean, LSU's 1-2, Vanderbilt's undefeated. There seems to be a much deeper league at the top than it has been in some time.
Yeah, no question about it. And I think you're going to see some fighting toward the end, like an Ole Miss, you know, starting to see some of those kind of the teams that come into buildings like they did Sunday and really make games tough. I think they're going to fight for some supremacy at the end of the season as well.
And for LSU, it's a lot of new players on that team. So some transfers that are key players coming in. You have Williams, you have Flage, who are tried and true.
Nice.
Great shot.
Yeah.
Need more of that from Petticord.
Good penetration.
And then they have freshmen that are, most of them, 5-star freshmen. So getting a feel for the SEC out after not a very tough non-con schedule, I have a feeling they're going to kick it into high gear here. Potentially, they already have.
Yep.
Texas gets LSU Sunday, so in a way, is that better timing because they're such a young squad and we're still early in conference play?
It's a good question, but it also could be they're motivated after those first 2 losses in conference play. They came out and got a win today, but, you know, Kim Mulkey's a pretty special coach, and she's able to keep her team focused and confident.
You know, Andy, you said something earlier, and you were talking to us, David, about what it was like to be undefeated. And Andy was talking about our chemistry and those kinds of things. And teams love to talk about how much they love each other. There were some days we went home mad at each other. And that's part of the journey as well. So people shouldn't be thinking, oh, this is a love fest all the time. No, if you're getting after it against your teammate, I don't like you today. And when I go home, and I might not speak to you when we leave practice, and that happened a lot, Andy. I mean, I don't know if you noticed that or not, but
that's why you weren't talking to me. I didn't know that for 40 years now, I guess. I just remember Cammie. Cammie was so annoying. So annoying in so many ways in practice.
Indeed.
I felt constantly angry with her because she demanded so dang much of all of us.
I think we're going to need some therapy.
Half of the undefeateds left in the SEC, Texas and Vanderbilt, UConn and Texas Tech the others. Vic Schaefer was asked about being ranked number 2, and he said, still every team we're playing is ranked lower than us. There's as much motivation for them to beat us as if we were number 1.
Yes. That's a good quote. And here's the thing. I think not being number 1 gives you a little edge.
Here comes Coulibaly for Auburn, a 51-point Texas lead.
Should it matter? Or do you think it does to any of these players? Could it be motivation?
I liked it.
It was nice.
Sidbury loses control.
That may be off Coulibaly. It is. How about Preston forcing the turnover with their hustle?
Loved the electric play of Preston. She's so much fun to watch out there. Crowd favorite.
I mean, the hustle here, the extra effort right there, and understanding the intellect. Understand, no, that's my ball. It's going the other way.
Booker fires the 3. Another offensive rebound. Oldacre, her 6th, as she draws the foul.
First of all, you did need the dribble, okay? Let me just say that to you as opposed to coach. You did need the dribble. Just go up, big girl. I will say this about the number 1 ranking, though, as in terms of, it was cool to hear.
Keeps winning. Will the voters elevate them to number 1? Because I don't know if UConn is going to lose the rest of the regular season. They look to be dominating the Big East again. A couple of non-conference games coming up, but versus no one like a Texas, at least in the rankings.
Well, they played Tennessee, so Tennessee's capable of doing a lot of different things because of their depth, their speed, the way they play, different style.
83-30, the Texas lead. Under 6.5 to go. As Duhan throws.
Fourth quarter is what we were advocating that they do in the first quarter, which is take the ball, jam it down Texas's throat, force them to play one-on-one defense. And every chance they've done that, they've gotten to the free throw line or gotten a possession.
Yeah, I think Texas is tremendous in their defense when you're using a screen and roll, pick and roll, team defense. But that one-on-one defense is a place with speed you can exploit.
Yep.
And LSU seems to be one of those teams with the quickness to potentially do that on Sunday in Baton Rouge.
Correct. In Auburn's defense, again, new coach, 11 new players. It's tough to figure out where the players are, how to get them in the right spots. There's so many things to learn. And as I mentioned, even shoot-arounds for Larry Vickers are teaching times for him. He spends a lot of time still teaching, whereas many other coaches in the nation don't have to do that.
Approaching 6 minutes remaining in the 4th.
I think Oldacre was ready for that ball.
Almost made the wild shot, but draws another foul. Free throw attempts 8 and 9 coming up for Oldacre in a moment.
Yeah, the one area of Kyla's game that she's going to have to shore up is the need to take one dribble, because there will be scouts that will say, here's what we know about 0-0. She's got to take a dribble. When she takes that dribble, swarm her, swat it, do something. So those are small, intangible things that she can do to really improve her effort on the floor.
So Clara Coulibaly has fouled out. Hadi Lay fouled out a couple of minutes ago, and Auburn without its 6'5 junior Quanera Montague today. So Arik Angui, 6'9 redshirt freshman, is in, but limited playing time for her this season.
One of the taller players in the NCAA at
6'9". 85-32. Oldacre quietly up to 20. She now leads all scorers.
Wow.
That is quiet.
That is very quiet. I'm checking that because I wasn't aware that that's the kind of game she was having.
She and Cunningham, 37 points combined, 14 of 17 from the floor.
Great move.
Preston running the point with Harmon on the bench. Booker, 14 points, wants 2 more, short. Oldaker wrestles it away from Ongui for a moment, now fighting on the floor. She kept her hands on the ball and forces the tie. This team the most about yours 40 seasons back?
I think a very disciplined coach. I think Jody was incredibly disciplined. The fans were fabulous, as they were today for us as well. Those two things are constant. We were a defense-first team, so even though we scored a lot of points, we were definitely we were a team that worked every day on defense and prided ourselves on our defense.
Nice move.
86 points a game without a three-point shot. So how would you be in the three-point record book, Fran, if they had the three-point line?
Nobody would have ever catch. Nobody would ever catch me. Absolutely. When my career was over, I was 4th on the all-time leading scorer. Now I'm 7, and only one person ahead of me had a three-point line. So that tells you about as Andy said, the quality of players that were here. But yeah, if there had been a three-point line, my guy, listen. We're talking about probably 3,000 points for me.
Well, look at who was on the team. Annette Smith, who's the all-time leading scorer for men or women for Texas. Yeah. Fran, she was tremendous as a scorer, as a teammate, as a leader. Cammie, who was the all-time leader in assists. Clarissa, who was a 2-time National Player of the Year, MVP as a freshman. And I mean, just an amazing group. And that doesn't even talk. Nobody talks about the hometown hero, Beverly Williams. Like, she was such a big piece of the glue of our team. And Yolanda Wimbish, those players were so valuable.
Kara Pretty, who had an incredible Final Four. I mean, Jody put her in, and there's this thought like, that's interesting, because she hadn't played, and then she came in and literally just took over. Took over. But that's what I was saying to you earlier, David. Like, there's being perfect, and then there's being ready. And teams, when you're on a great team, everybody's not going to get to play a whole lot, and you got to deal with that. And so to be able to do that, to stick it out for the good of the team, but also to stay ready. That's what Kara Pretty did. That's what Yolanda Wimbish did for our championship team.
That's a good example. Justice Carlton here today, just 8 minutes on Sunday, but staying ready. And she very much up to her game here tonight.
Yes, and it's tough to sit on the bench and, okay, I hope she calls me. I hope they call me. I hope I get in.
Oh, the look-off by Preston and the drive to the rim for 2.
Tough.
She's so much more under control than she was a season ago.
So you mentioned maybe the weakness of Texas defensively is when teams drive against them. What did squads do best against you 40 years ago? There had to have been one weakness. Obviously, you overcame it. But how did teams take advantage of Texas the most back then?
I think in a quarter court, we were probably predictable. That was one of the tough things for us to play against when we played against really good teams. That would be where I think we were challenged. I mean, we played against great, all of the awards that they have today in today's world with Katrina McClain and Cheryl Miller. We played against all of those great players, and those players were part of our era. So we saw them every non-conference season. We were playing those teams, the Tennessees, the USCs, the Louisiana Techs.
Listen, these guys have playbooks that are, the size of the Bible. 500 pages. We ran 2 offenses. We ran 1 offense, high-low, and double-low.
Double-low.
I mean, I'm not even exaggerating.
We're not joking.
We're not exaggerating.
No.
We had 2 offenses. But where we were so unstoppable was in transition, because the commitment was there. If you get the rebound, we're running. I don't care what the situation is. We're running, and so that balanced out the thing that Andy said. The predictability of us on offense. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't running off picks. It literally was 2 offenses.
And I think I want to mention with Texas, I think what's going to be interesting to see about this team is today they're playing a smaller team than Auburn, a team with less experience. When they have a chance to play Ole Miss again, a team that's big, strong, and physical, I saw some cracks. And what are they going to learn from that and do better the next time around or against a team similar?
And how does, as Petticourt hits the 3, how does South Carolina adjust after Texas knocks them off Thanksgiving Day? You want to talk about size? Medina Ocote, 17 rebounds in the win over Florida over the weekend, so that's a team with size.
I remember Vic Schaefer talking about her when she first came in last season in the beginning of the year, and he's like, I'm not quite sure how she's going to do because she needed to get in better shape. She needed to learn that system, unlearn some things.
Beautiful feed. Preston Sidbury finishes it off.
That is the future point guard right there. It'll be interesting to watch her next season. Rory in her last season with different urgency this year. Preston, exciting to watch as well.
Approaching a minute remaining.
Nice move.
Wild finish by Maya Petticord. Here comes Preston, speeding down the floor. Gives Texas numbers, and Judd finishes the break.
Fancy.
Got a little flash to her game.
95-36. It's been a fun night. Two Texas Hall of Famers that I've had the pleasure to work with, Fran Harris, Andrea Lloyd, and appreciate your time reminiscing. Some final thoughts as we go down the stretch as Texas this season goes to 18-0.
I reject that it's been 40 years. That's it.
It's been too long. I'll just tell you that when it comes to, it's great to see Texas on a national stage, and
Yes.
it's been too long coming.
After struggling down the stretch in their victory over Ole Miss Sunday, no such struggles throughout. 24-1 the lead in the first quarter. And a 59.
Just let her touch the ball.
Judd, there you go. The post touched the ball. You
just
called
wanna
it.
Touch it.
Quick favorite Jody Conrad memory. I haven't asked you specifically.
Oh, gosh. 19 seconds. Jody was just a great role model. I think, she taught diplomacy. It was not diplomatic in our practice, but she did things diplomatically and was a tremendous stateswoman for our program and for, I think, the University of Texas and Texas overall.
Yeah, ditto all that. I love as a shooter that she said it wasn't a democracy. There were certain people who needed the ball in their hands, and I want the ball in their hands, and I appreciate you, Coach. It's not a democracy. It's not an egalitarian offense. Not everybody gets the same chances.
Blood on the leg of Taya Sidbury as she'll get that part of the left leg wrapped up. I want to say a quick Jody story that I have. So, called a game for Texas Student TV in the 90s. This is well before LHN, etc. And so I'm nervous as all get. I mean, I'm doing play-by-play. So I go to practice, talk to Jody Conrad beforehand. She treats me like she treated any other member of the media. I'm just know-nothing kid. And I've always remembered that. Had the chance to thank her for that finally 3 weeks ago, years after the fact.
Nice.
That's the type of person she was. I mean, a little more intense with the players than folks like me, but a class act, a legend. We saw her before the game, still comes to every game. She recently retired from her role here, but she'll always be around the Moody Center.
Yep, the house that Jody built.
97-36. Texas rolls to 18-0. They extend their best start since the national championship squad here